In Unit 2 of our Humanities class, we will look at what it means to be human. So the title of this lesson, which will take us through second quarter, is our humanness. The question is, what does it mean to be human? In history, there is a famous psychologist by the name of Abraham Maslow. You may or may not have heard of him. He typically comes up in psychology classes, sometimes sociology classes, but those two topics do tie in very closely with the overall subject of humanities. Well, Abraham Maslow is the founder of what's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. These are considered the most human, basic needs. These 5 different levels of needs, there are slightly different names for them as you come across his theory in other locations, but basically physiological needs, those are dealing with the most basic needs that we all have to accomplish to simply stay alive. That includes food, water, rest. Okay, there are also safety needs. We have to have shelter. We need a level of protection, clothing, things of that sort to protect ourselves. Love, belonging, social needs. Those are actually needs that we have as humans. Above that would be self-esteem needs. This is where you start to feel good about yourself as an individual. And then the highest level that we can achieve, according to Abraham Maslow, is self-actualization. This is where you achieve your gifts, your talent, your purpose in life. Abraham Maslow also believes that you must go through these hierarchy of needs in order to reach the top. In other words, it would be very difficult for a person, according to Abraham Maslow, to achieve self-actualization when you're starving, when you're homeless, and you don't have the basic physiological needs being met. Okay, this graph consists of images to further illustrate the physiological needs that Abraham Maslow talks about. With that, we have food, water, rest, and shelter. So we all understand that those are some of the most basic needs that we need in order to function. Again, those are the physiological needs. Lastly, when you have finished viewing that, there is actually an assignment that is tied to this mini lesson over Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The assignment will be written in your journal notebooks, and you will actually be considering the information that was shared with you in this lesson regarding Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and then respond to the following. In your journal notebooks, if you would please, so that I will know exactly which assignment this is. At the top of the page, your assignment title is Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. Be sure to date it and go ahead and put your name. It makes it easier where I'm grading. I don't have to go back to the beginning of the notebook to figure out whose notebook I'm looking at. So you're going to respond to the following questions in your journal. You do not need to write out the questions, but I do need you to number the questions, just in case for some reason you cannot read or the print is not clear. The first question is, do you agree with Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Yes, no, and then you're going to explain your answer. Okay, and that's however you see fit. Do you think there's other needs that are involved? Do you think that what he's come up with doesn't apply anymore? However you choose to respond to that. Number 2, in Maslow's theory of human needs, he believes that we must accomplish the lower levels of the pyramid, which are the physiological, before reaching the upper levels, which are the self-esteem and self-actualization. Do you agree? Why or why not? In other words, do you think that you could possibly be homeless and still at that same time be reaching your self-actualization and self-esteem needs? Maybe, maybe not. Just explain there. Number 3 is explain how understanding human needs and human motivation is connected to our understanding of our humanities. In other words, make the connection, make the tie-in. Human needs. How does that connect with the study of humanities? And you might ponder that a little bit. I will definitely elaborate on that question when we continue with the lesson, but just want to see what you come up with at this point. Okay, that concludes this lesson. Again, be sure to write your responses to this assignment in your journal notebook. It is due by the end of class period today. If you have questions, feel free to ask me.